Hey YouTube, what's going on? We're gonna do a really quick video. Hi Bubba, say hi. We're gonna do a really quick video today because I have purchased something for a friend of mine for his birthday, and it is a real sword, or a wall hanger sword. It's made of metal, and I have the foam version, and I wanted to do a comparison video really quick and just show you guys what the foam one looks like compared to the real one, because they're very, very similar, and I thought it might be helpful, and I haven't seen any of these online. So let's check out Conan the Destroyer's sword in foam and in real life. Alright, so this is the wall hanger that I purchased. And that just means it's a non-functional sword. It's just a term that means it's a real sword. It's made of metal. It's made of all these different steels and brass and whatever the hell that materials they use, but it's designed purely to hang on your wall. If you go and hit something with it, it'll break. It does have a heft to it, and it does have a... this is a stainless blade, so it does have a stamp on it. But this is essentially color patterned after, it's referred to as the Conan the Destroyer Atlantean sword. And so, has a nice finish to it. The etching is very nice. It's just a really nice blade, and it'll display really well. This isn't leather, this is just cord, but it looks nice. It can be weathered up if you really want to. The brass is really good. It's got a little screw in the pommel. So, as you can see, these sides and areas have screw holes. It's not ideal. And so, if you really want... It actually looks like there's a screw that's supposed to be in here and is not in there. So, but if you really want to display it without that, you can flip it, and then this side doesn't have the screws. So, that is, of course, another way to do it. But you can see this piece has a seam here. This comes off. This is a cap. This is not a thing. And then, of course, the pour spouts must have been up here. You can see the seam line. It's been sanded. You can see where it's been machined and stuff to make the seam go away. So none of that should be a surprise, you know, with a wall hanger. Now we look right next to it, and this is the foam sword. So if we look at its size, it's the same size. So the Conan foam sword and the Conan real sword are the same size, which does confirm that they did cast this sword from an actual sword. It's not something they sculpted or 3D modeled. This is just straight up casted. Here's a couple other reasons why you can tell. So these little gaps here are filled. They need to be popped out, but look where this little air bubble hole was. That's right where a screw hole is on the other sword. So that's kind of interesting. And when you look at both sides, you can see that you do get some air bubbles and things like that, but you know, you can fill that and paint over that with foam clay or something if you want. The handle has that sort of wrapped cord look to it. Again, nothing surprising there. Some air bubble holes and things like that that are periodic throughout it, but the design is the same, with one exception. The peg holes here, which look like mounting pegs, to be honest with you. This side, these don't have peg holes. Looks like they did at one point. You can see where there's some grinding. So my theory was that they may have been pour spouts or things like that that were on the sword and then ground off over time. But the etching into the blade is the same. The length is the same. The overall heft and quality and thickness of the blade, obviously being a foam blade with a core, is much better. And of course the tip is all wonky because it's a piece of foam. It's not going to have a nice, perfect little tip. You can fix that if you really want. You do get some air bubbling and things like that, some minor defects in your sword, but considering you can get this thing for like 20 bucks or 30 bucks on Amazon, it's really not bad at all. And when you compare it to the real one, it's pretty cool. So overall, the foam sword is a great investment if you want a Conan sword and you don't want to drop $80 to $500 on various Conan swords. You get all the details you want in the world, and you can really... have a nice costume with it, or you can even just display it. It looks pretty cool, even as a foam sword. So you weather it, you do what you want to do, you get a little bit of that wash going, so you get some patina and all that, and it'll look even better. But I highly recommend the investment. I think it looks really cool, and yeah, hopefully this influences some buyers. So have a good day, everybody, and thanks for checking out my stuff.